There's a harsh truth you need to hear today. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not society, not your friends. If your life is a mess, it's your responsibility to clean it up. If your mind is chaotic, no one else is going to organize it for you. The only way forward, the only path toward meaning, strength, and growth is to turn inward, to focus on yourself relentlessly, ruthlessly, and honestly. And if you can do that, truly do that, you will be shocked at how much your life can transform. One of the most destructive lies you can tell yourself is that your suffering is someone else's fault. The longer you believe this, the longer you stay powerless. Your childhood may have been unfair. Life may be stacked against you, but you're still responsible for what you do next. The victim mindset keeps you small. It protects you from the pain of accountability, but it also steals your potential. Begin by saying, what am I doing that contributes to my own suffering? It's not comfortable, it's not easy, but it is the only place from which true change ever begins. Before you talk about changing the world, change your immediate environment. If your desk is buried in clutter, if your bed isn't made, if your phone screen is chaos, that's a reflection of your inner world. Clean your room, not because it's a small task, but because it's a symbolic act of order. When you impose structure on your space, you begin to realize you have the power to impose structure on your thoughts, your habits, and your future. Start small, start now. Your external chaos is often a mirror of internal confusion. Comfort is seductive. It whispers to you, telling you that rest is always deserved, that pleasure is always the goal. But a life lived for comfort will slowly strangle your soul. What we need, what we truly crave, is meaning. And meaning is born of responsibility, not convenience. It's found in becoming who you are capable of becoming, and that requires effort, sacrifice, discipline. Choose a target, aim at something, and then begin the difficult, often painful process of growing into the person who can reach it. Most people are living far beneath their potential because they are terrified of failure, terrified of judgment, terrified of effort without guarantee. But the truth is your capacity is hidden behind your fear. The only way to discover who you could be is to go where you are weakest, to confront what you most avoid. Struggle isn't the enemy, it's the path. The part of you that resists discomfort is also the part holding you back. If you want to improve your life, embrace struggle like a sculptor embraces the chisel, because it's what will carve out the best version of you. One of the most damaging patterns a person can fall into is the habit of blaming others for their pain, limitations, or stagnation. It's a seductive mindset because it offers instant relief, the kind of relief that comes from saying, "It's not my fault." But that same mindset is a prison. When you blame others, you are handing over the reins of your life to forces outside of your control. You are saying, until they change, I can't improve. And that is one of the most dangerous beliefs anyone can hold, because the world, it's indifferent. People who hurt you might never apologize. Circumstances might never bend in your favor. The truth is, life can be cruel and unfair, but your task is not to make life fair. Your task is to respond to its unfairness with strength, clarity, and personal responsibility. Responsibility does not mean self-blame. It doesn't mean you deserved what happened to you. It means acknowledging that no matter how you got here, it is now your job to do something about it. That is an incredibly powerful shift in thinking. Instead of waiting for justice, you take the reins. Instead of complaining, you act. Instead of pointing fingers outward, you look inward and ask, what can I do now to make things better? This is where real maturity begins, not when you start controlling everything around you, but when you begin to take ownership of your own reactions, behaviors, and patterns. It takes brutal honesty to admit you might be playing a role in your own suffering. Maybe you're staying in a toxic relationship out of fear. Maybe you've avoided hard conversations that could lead to growth. Maybe you numb yourself with distractions instead of facing reality. These patterns are easy to maintain because they feel safe even though they keep you stuck. Breaking free requires courage. It means seeing yourself not just as a passive observer in life's story, but as its author with the power to write a different ending. That power comes from ownership, not excuses. So ask yourself with as much sincerity as you can, what am I doing that keeps me where I am? What excuses am I making? What would change if I decided to stop blaming and start building? You might be surprised at what you uncover. And that awareness, even if it stings, is the first real step toward liberation, because the moment you accept responsibility, you reclaim your power, and from that point forward, no one and nothing can stop your growth but you. Before you attempt to change the world, before you seek to fix broken systems, improve relationships, or criticize society, you must start with the space immediately around you. The physical environment you occupy daily is not just a backdrop to your life, it is a reflection of your mind. When your room is cluttered, your workspace disorganized, and your schedule chaotic, it often points to a deeper psychological disarray. That mess, that disorder, it seeps into your thoughts, your decisions, and your emotions. And if you live long enough in that state, it becomes your default. Confusion becomes familiar, and clarity feels unreachable. There's a reason why the advice to clean your room is so powerful, even though it sounds simple. Cleaning your space isn't just about neatness, it's about order. It's about proving to yourself that even in the smallest way, you can bring structure into chaos. You are capable of taking a domain, even if it's just a desk or a drawer, and making it better than it was before. That act, repeated daily, becomes a ritual of competence. It's a signal to your subconscious that you're not at the mercy of entropy. You can act intentionally. You can impose will on disorder, and that seemingly minor shift creates ripples that influence your internal world. When you begin to organize your space, something unexpected happens. You begin to organize your thoughts. You start noticing how you waste time. You catch the moments you lie to yourself. You see how much of your life is lived reactively instead of proactively. You start setting boundaries not just in your room, but in your conversations, your time, your energy, and slowly, structure replaces confusion. Purpose replaces distraction. Some people think it's too trivial that cleaning a room won't solve deeper problems. But those people miss the point. You can't address the complex if you can't manage the simple. You can't lead others if you can't govern yourself. The room is a metaphor, but it's also real. Your desk, your bed, your morning routine, these are the foundation stones of personal transformation. They're not just chores, they're sacred acts of reclaiming your agency. So when you wake up in a state of mental fog, when life feels overwhelming or out of control, don't start with philosophy or grand ideals. Start with the immediate, start with what's right in front of you, because if you can't bring order to the small, you'll never be ready to tackle the large. And in truth, those small wins are what eventually build the strength to face life's bigger battles. Comfort has become a modern idol, worshipped silently in our routines, sought after in our careers, our relationships, even in how we entertain ourselves. We are told constantly that life should feel good, that success means more ease, less struggle, and greater access to pleasure. But this is a lie dressed up as wisdom. Comfort, for all its temporary appeal, is not the purpose of life. In fact, the pursuit of comfort above all else slowly drains you of meaning. It makes you soft. It makes you passive, and over time it makes you miserable. The paradox is that the more you chase comfort, the more fragile and anxious you become, because deep down you know you were not made for safety. You were made for growth, and growth demands discomfort. There is something profound that happens when a person chooses meaning over comfort. Meaning is rooted in responsibility, in effort, in sacrifice. It's found in the commitment to something larger than yourself. That might be your family, it might be your craft, it might be a mission you've taken on that demands the very best of you. Meaning calls you to rise. Comfort lets you sink, and if you live long enough solely in the pursuit of what feels good, you will eventually wake up empty, wondering why nothing truly satisfies. It's not that pleasure is wrong. It has its place, but pleasure is not purpose. It's a byproduct, not a destination. When you decide to take on something meaningful, whether it's starting a business, raising a child, healing from trauma, or becoming someone trustworthy and capable, you enter a different kind of life. It's harder, yes, but it's richer. There are moments of exhaustion, but also moments of quiet pride. There are struggles, but also breakthroughs, and unlike comfort, which fades quickly, meaning leaves a legacy, it gives you a story worth telling not just to others, but to yourself. Most people think they need to wait until they feel strong to take on meaningful tasks, but it works the other way around. Taking on meaningful tasks makes you strong. You don't become better by staying comfortable. You become better by carrying weight, real weight, and discovering that you were always capable of more than you believed. Meaning refines you. It transforms suffering into strength, confusion into clarity, and existence into purpose. That's why the pursuit of meaning is not just noble, it's necessary. Without it, we drift. With it, we build. Most people spend their lives operating at a fraction of their potential, not because they aren't capable, but because they're afraid. Afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of what it might cost to truly push themselves. That fear becomes a cage, and within that cage, they make themselves smaller. They aim lower, settle faster, and convince themselves that playing it safe is wisdom. But the reality is stark. Your strength is hidden behind your struggle. The person you could become, the disciplined, courageous, powerful version of you, only emerges when you willingly walk into discomfort and confront what terrifies you most. There is a deep illusion that we must feel ready before we act. But readiness rarely comes first. In most cases, it's through action, especially difficult action, that you awaken the parts of yourself that have been asleep. Every time you choose to step forward instead of retreat, you train your brain to see challenge not as a threat but as a path. You learn that your limits are often artificial. The body can handle more than you think. The mind can push further than you believe. But that truth will never reveal itself if you hide from the test. Struggle has a strange gift hidden within it. It's in your moments of failure, exhaustion, and doubt that your character is forged. Not when things are easy, but when they are brutally hard. That's where grit is built. That's where clarity forms. The people who improve their lives dramatically, the ones we admire for their discipline, strength, or vision aren't superhuman. They are simply the ones who dared to keep moving when it was uncomfortable, inconvenient, or terrifying. They chose struggle, and that choice shaped them. There will always be a voice in your head trying to protect you from discomfort. It will whisper things like, "Take it easy, you've done enough, don't risk failing." That voice is not your enemy, but it is not your guide either. It's the voice of the past, the voice of the old self. If you want to improve your life, that voice must be challenged daily. You do that by setting goals that demand more of you, by choosing hard paths on purpose, and by seeing setbacks not as signs to quit, but as evidence that you're actually growing. There is no growth without struggle, and there is no fulfilled life without growth. You are capable of far more than you currently believe, but only if you're brave enough to meet yourself in the fire. The journey of self-improvement is neither glamorous nor easy. It demands honesty, discipline, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. At its core, the message is simple yet profound. If you want to improve your life, you must begin with yourself. No one else can walk this path for you. Blaming others may feel justified at times, but it will never bring you closer to strength, peace, or progress. The only way out of suffering is through it, through courageous ownership of your actions, your habits, and your potential. When you accept that, you stop waiting for the world to fix itself and start building something better from within. Focusing on yourself does not mean selfishness. It means taking responsibility for your energy, your decisions, and your growth. It starts with the smallest actions: clean your space, order your thoughts, manage your time. These steps may seem trivial, but they build the psychological scaffolding that supports a better version of you. Every small victory compounds, creating a sense of stability and control where chaos once reigned. The external world may be unpredictable, but if your inner world is structured, you remain grounded, focused, and prepared to face whatever comes. A meaningful life is not built in comfort. It is carved out in the places where you're tested, where you're required to sacrifice, where you're called to carry weight that stretches your limits. Meaning is what anchors you when life inevitably becomes difficult. It's the force that drives you to get up, to try again, to keep going even when no one is watching. When you pursue meaning over ease, you discover a deeper satisfaction, one that cannot be bought, imitated, or replaced. You become a person of substance, and that substance echoes in everything you do, in every room you walk into, in every goal you dare to chase. Struggle is not the enemy, it's the gateway. Every challenge is an invitation to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. When you stop avoiding hardship and begin to see it as a necessary part of transformation, your entire life shifts. You stop being a spectator and become a participant. You become someone who doesn't wait to be saved, but chooses to rise. That is the path of real change. That is how you focus on yourself, and through that focus, radically improve your life. Not all at once, not without pain, but one deliberate, courageous step at a time. Thank you and goodbye note for uploading. Thank you for taking the time to watch this message. If this speech resonated with you, if it sparked a shift in your mindset, or gave you something to think deeply about, I'm truly grateful. Your journey of self-improvement starts with one decision: to take responsibility for your life. And if you're here, it means you're already on that path. Keep going, keep growing. The world becomes better when you become better. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload that could push you forward in your journey. Your support means more than you know, and together, we're building a community of people committed to real, lasting growth. Stay focused, stay strong, and always remember the best version of you is still waiting to be built. Until next time, take care of yourself, live with purpose, and never stop becoming who you were meant to be. Thank you and goodbye.